Who taught you how to pray?
I would probably have to say my grandma taught me to pray first. And then there was always prayer involved in all the different churches that I've gone to.
How often do you pray?
I like to pray, no formal prayers usually, but just kind of a prayer in like walking with God all day long
Why do you pray?
because it gives me a sense of purpose and because it makes me feel like I am a beloved child of God in whom He is well pleased.
What is your preferred way to pray or type of prayer?
I just walking conversation with God all the time.
Do you have a favorite place to pray?
No, in my car maybe.
What are some of the things you like to pray about most often?
I like to pray for peace and harmony and that God will lead me to do the next right thing. And I like to pray for people who are suffering.
Do you think your life is better because you pray?
Yes, because it puts me in more conscious contact with God on a daily basis.
How has your prayer life and prayer topics changed you as you've gotten older?
Um, it seems like it's more of, instead of praying for certain things to happen, that I pray that I can just be a part of God's will for me and my family.
Do you have a favorite prayer?
No.
What piece of advice would you offer to someone who is new to prayer or someone who doesn't see the point of prayer?
That it has changed my life and allows me to be in gratitude most of the time, and so I think it's very important.
Who taught you how to pray?
I learned very early by doing like bedtime prayers when I was a little kid with mom and dad.
How often do you pray?
Usually every week when I go to church, and sometimes I pray with my youngest daughter Kelly before she goes to bed.
Why do you pray?
I think for me it's like it allows me to um, think about the people in my life that need prayers, that either are struggling with illness or maybe from a bad situation in their life, and it allows me to do something nice for them.
What is your preferred way to pray or type of prayer?
It's usually like alone, like by myself. If I'm not at church, and then obviously if I'm at church, it's surrounded by the rest of the congregation.
Do you have a favorite place to pray? Where? If so, where?
I really enjoy the what's that place called? The St. Stephen's,
Chapel.
the chapel. I really enjoy the chapel at St. Stephen's, where I can go in and like light a candle, and there's usually nobody in there, and I can have some peace and quiet.
What are some of the things you pray most often? Pray about most often?
I usually pray about my family, and my friends, and like I said, people that I think, maybe going through a rough patch or that really might need a extra lift.
Do you think your life is better because you pray? If so, why?
I think so. I mean, I think being able to give somebody something, even if it's a prayer, kind of comes back to the person that gave it. So, yeah, I think so.
How has your prayer life and prayer topics changed you as you've gotten older?
I think when I was younger, I used to pray a lot for myself. Whether it was about school or about sports or about just whatever was going on in my life at the time. And I think the older I've gotten, it's changed more towards other people, whether it's my family or my friends or my children, whatever the case may be.
Do you have a favorite prayer? If so, what is it?
If I had a favorite, I mean, I'm pretty traditional and boring in that regard, so it'd probably be just like the Our Father.
What piece of advice would you offer to someone who is new to prayer or is someone who doesn't see the point of prayer?
I think it's a great way to organize your thoughts. In many cases, it allows you to do something nice for somebody else, and at the same token, there is some sense of peace in terms of just kind of delivering whatever problems you may have or others may have to God.
Who taught you to pray?
That would be my parents and probably my grandparents.
How often do you pray?
I try to pray once a day.
Why do you pray?
It gets me a better connection with God and His path for me.
What is your preferred way to pray or type of prayer?
My preferred way to pray is usually before I go to sleep. I try to set aside 5 minutes before I fall asleep.
Do you have a favorite place to pray?
I really don't. Probably, if I did, probably be up my bed.
What are some of the things you like to pray about most often?
Usually my family.
Do you think your life is better because you pray? If so, why?
I never used to. I do now. As you get older, I think I have. Reason why I think you just have a better connection, I guess you want to say, with how you do things, how you construct your life on a daily basis.
How has your prayer life and prayer topics changed you as you've gotten older?
I believe it's making me. As you grow up, you see a bigger picture, a better picture for how you want to live your life, how you want to handle things as you get older, just as a vision as far as what you have planned for yourself.
Do you have a favorite prayer?
Probably the Our Father.
What piece of advice could you offer to someone who is new to prayer or someone who doesn't see the point of prayer?
I would say that it's just overall it's a better connection. I feel it's a better connection with God and get you on the right path and just to see things from a different perspective, I guess.
Austin,
Yeah.
who taught you how to pray?
My mother, and she taught me to pray when I was really young. Yeah,
How often do you pray?
usually every time I go to church, and yeah.
Why do you pray?
Because I think it's a good way to feel comforted by God.
What is your preferred way to pray or type of prayer?
Like most of the time I probably just do it in my head, and then other times I'll down on my knees and do the thing, pray.
Do you have a favorite place to pray?
Not really. Most common place I do it would probably be at church every time I go. So, yeah.
What are some of the things that you pray about most often?
Having a good day, or having good luck, and just being nice to people like that.
Do you think your life is better because you pray? If so, why?
Yes, and because it gives me a sense of comfort and makes me happy to pray. Yeah.
How has your prayer life and prayer topics changed you as you've gotten older?
Well, when I prayed younger, I would always ask for stuff, if that makes any sense. And now I pray for just like being happy or things that will make me happy in the future.
Do you have a favorite prayer? If so, what is it?
I don't really have a favorite prayer, but the one I do the most would probably be Hail Mary. It's because like we do it before every sports, like football and basketball game usually as a team. So that would probably be my favorite one if I had one.
What piece of advice could you offer to someone who is new to prayer or someone who doesn't see the point of prayer?
That it like just makes you feel more comfortable and yeah, just like it usually puts me in a better mood every time I do it. So.